The very first Friday in June, National Donut Day. And we will talk with one of the best donut makers ever coming up in just a moment. Also, a little bit later on, you may have heard about the Boston Marathon getting canceled for the first time ever in 124 years. We'll talk with somebody who has ran that race 20 consecutive years. And it's National Dairy Month. We'll cover those bases as well. All of that and more this half hour on Let's Chat.
Chat, the Tennessee Valley's premier show focusing on lifestyle and entertainment with Jess Raby and Chip Chapman, bringing you smart shopping tips, community events, and the newest trends. Now, let's chat.
And of course, as Jess continues her maternity leave, we are getting a rotating cast of folks to come in and ride shotgun with us each and every weekday morning here on Let's Chat. With National Donut Day coming up this Friday, who better than Tony McInnis? Tony is with Tasty Donuts of Chattanooga. And Tony, all I can say is good morning, and you are the man.
Well, good morning. You know, they say I'm the sweetest guy you ever meet, Chip.
Well, I'll tell you what, we were sitting here, or I was sitting here doing my work, just hammering it out, and the doorbell rings earlier this morning, and it's like, who is ringing the doorbell at this early hour? And it was one of your guys that had a huge tray of donuts.
Well, we figured we'd do it upright, Chip. I mean, if we're going to talk about donuts, then we want you to be in the spirit and know what we're talking about and see it and taste it and smell it and love it.
It's kind of coincidental. The Tasty Donuts van comes up right in front of my front door. He brings in this huge tray of donuts, and the next thing I know, the phone's ringing. Somebody else is knocking on the door 20 minutes later, and I'm thinking, coincidence? No, not by a long shot. Anyway, this Friday, National Donut Day. I wanted to spend a couple of minutes with you and talk about how National Donut Day came into existence.
So National Donut Day goes back to World War I. The Salvation Army lassies would take leftover dough and fry it for the soldiers and serve them coffee and donuts on Fridays. So it was a real treat. And that came back to the United States. So the actual first National Donut Day was a fundraiser for the Salvation Army in Chicago in 1938. It's always the first Friday of June. And that continued annually. And then during the Eisenhower administration, it became a national holiday.
Wow. And you guys have been paying it forward ever since. And you and both of your shops, especially, you team up with the good people at the Salvation Army, and you have now for almost 10 years. Tell me about that partnership and why you keep going back to the Salvation Army table year after year after year.
Well, that partnership, and Chip, if you go back 10 years ago, maybe it was just me, but nobody heard of Donut Day around here. And so when we got in the business and did our research and saw what National Donut Day was all about, trying to be a good citizen and member of the community, we saw an opportunity there. Let's reach out to the Salvation Army and let's partner up with them and let's continue that tradition. So we donate in excess of 700 donuts the last few years. They take them out to civil servants all around the Chattanooga area, fire halls, police precincts, and politicians, mayor's offices and things like that. So it's the tradition, it's the history, and we're traditionalists, and we like that history, and so we want to honor that as we pay it forward each year.
And it makes you feel good to be able to do something like that for our first responders. And I know there have been probably half a dozen times over the past several years, not long after you take those donuts out through the Salvation Army, I'll run into a firefighter, a police officer, and they will playfully punch me in the arm and go, man, good cause. That Tony guy, he's great. And of course, the donuts speak for themselves. And also, you celebrate the special Donut Day by offering the first 500 folks through the door a, quote, nearly world famous, end quote, glazed donuts. So what do we have to do to make the nearly go away, to make it the world famous Tasty Donuts glazed phenomenon? Tell me what we have to do.
Well, we're getting there. We get a lot of international people. Up in Ottawa, there's a lot of businesses that are international businesses. So we're now famous in Japan and Germany and a lot of places. So
Right.
we're getting there, and as we grow, that will go. So hopefully the nearly will go away soon.
Well, I'll tell you what, coming up here in a few minutes, you are going to rejoin us here. We're going to take a look at some donuts. We're going to taste some donuts, and we're going to find out more about tasty donuts from the main guy, Tony McInnis. So, Tony, stick around. And by the way, those of you at home, would you like a free dozen donuts just like is right here over my shoulder? All you have to do right now is be caller number 12 at 756-1212. Caller 12, 756-1212. You get 12 donuts, courtesy of Tony McInnis and the great folks at Tasty Donuts. Give us a call. We're back with a winner coming up in just a moment.